let's get into the topic in this videos in this video. So firstly we are going to discuss about a tool called PyPhisher phishing tool, where you can create your own social media fake social media links and try to steal victims username and passwords. And after that we are going to discuss various checklists that can be used to in order to find IDOR vulnerabilities. And later we are going to discuss about how to automate finding of XSS and SQL injection attacks. And next, one of the researcher has shared an article in Medium where he found unexpected IDOR. So we are going to discuss that. And after that we are going to discuss about how to exploit how to identify client-side desync attacks and how to exploit it, where you can get some bounties from there. And after that we'll be discussing about uh, uh, by using various checklists and methods, you can basically bypass the admin panels which you have found at the time of reconnaissance. And after that we are going to discuss about how to easily find out the directory listing vulnerabilities by using one of the online scanner tool. So yeah. And after that we are going to discuss about the second method on how to automate your XSS findings in your target website. And a few bug bounty tips as will be discussed in this video. And also one of the researchers has also found a Django debug mode enabled vulnerability which has led to sensitive PI information leak. So we'll discuss how he found it and what is his approach and all. So after that we are going to discuss about finding of hidden parameters in an API endpoint by using a tool, and how can you leverage to it to cross-site scripting attacks or SQL injection attacks. And in the last we're going to discuss about how to uh, exploit user enumeration vulnerabilities, even though user enumeration vulnerability is set as out of scope in the uh, target scope in HackerOne or Bugcrowd. So you can basically use a tool called NametoMail. So by using this you can basically show the actual impact of user enumeration vulnerability to the target uh, program owners, and you can basically get a bounty from there as well. Yeah, so let's get into the topic. The first topic is PyPhisher phishing tool. So basically what is PyPhisher? So this is a tool which can be used to generate phishing links for all social media applications like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, etc., etc. And you can basically use this tool locally, download and install and run it locally, or you can also use the Docker containers of PyPhisher. And yeah, let's get into the demo. So first you need to uh, go to the PyPhisher GitHub profile, GitHub page. So here it is. So so basically you need to follow these steps in order to install or download or install this particular tool, or else you can use the Docker containers of this. So I have already installed this the Docker of PyPhisher. So let's use that. So here the tool is running now. So here are the other various options where you can insert in this particular tool. So if you have localhost auth token which is available, if yes you have the token, then insert it, and if no, then make it as no. Okay, let's take it as yes. Please type the access to. So if you don't have the access token, it will generate the key automatically, the token automatically, and it will give you the list of options. So if you want to use if you want to face this let's say PayPal, so let's select the option 14. Okay, so try enter 14, and if you want to generate a OTP after inserting the username and password to the victim, so you can mark it as yes. I don't want the next page to be redirected like OTP and all, so I just click on no. So enter shadow URL. Please enter if you want to skip it. So and after the redirection URL, if you want to give the any redirection URL, you can give over here, or else you can skip it. So now the various phishing fake links will be generated by PyPhisher, where you can use it in the while to exploit that particular victim. So you want to try the custom link, no, skip it. Okay, so if you can, as you can see, there are two fake links that are being created over here, so you can use either of this. So I'm gonna use this particular fake link, so copy it and paste it in the browser, click on enter. So we will now get redirected to the PayPal page. So like which looks exactly same like the PayPal page over here. So let's enter some sample email address. Let's say it's the victim actual PayPal account which is being entered by the victim, and some password of the PayPal. So if you want to click on login, so it basically redirect to the actual PayPal page again. So but here it will again ask for the email and all, but this is not our controllable page, so we will not get any logs of it. But before that URL, which was the fake link, we will get all the username and password which in our logs, as you can see over here. So the PyPhisher PayPal username which I have entered is tester@yahoo.com, and the password which I have entered is security@1990. So all this will get logged in this attacker controlled domain and all. So yeah, and also the various information have also been retrieved by the attacker, the victim's IP, what OS is using, what fight for what browser he is being trying to access PayPal, which country, which state he is from, etc., etc. All this information will get in the attacker controlled server logs. Yeah. So that's all about the PyPhisher. You can explore and make use of it in your real time. So this Yashwant Singh has written a beautiful write-up in Medium. So make sure to go through that write-up and explore more options in PyPhisher. Yeah, and let's get into the next topic, which is IDOR checklist. So this was written by Azim. So in the Medium. So let's get into the checklist now. So in IDOR, so we have various ways to bypass a particular ID parameter. Whenever you see an ID parameter in any endpoint, so you can basically try all these checklists in order to bypass the authorization and try to access other users' information. Okay, so first you need to check. Try to decode the ID value, whatever. If it is a alphanumeric value, try to decode it. If the try identify whether it is being used MD5 or base64, etc., in order to encode this particular ID value. If it is MD5, decode this ID value using MD5 and replace ID a number with another ID number, another user's ID number, and encrypt the ID other user's ID number with MD5, again use it, place it over here and send the request to the server. You will be successfully get the other user's sensitive data in your response. So the next method would be like changing HTTP request methods. So if that particular endpoint is using get method while getting the victim user's information, try to use post method, and if you might get 200 OK response and get other users information as well. So if it is using post method, then try to change it to get method and look out for the responses. And the third method would be try replacing parameters. Here you can use param analyzer. There's a burp extension, and which basically enumerates all the parameter names in that particular target application. So here you can see instead of album underscore ID and the album ID, and you can use in the same endpoint you can use another parameter name and parameter value. So instead of album ID, you are using account ID and the account ID value. So you might get surprised, like you might get another user's information in the response. And the next method would be try path traversing on the API endpoints, like giving the ID value over here and dot slash and the victim ID over here. You might bypass the authorization check over there, and check request content type header, like try if the application is using application/JSON, try application/XML and send it to the server. If the server responds 200 OK, then try changing the ID value with XML content type. So, and the next method would be use numeric ID values instead of alphanumeric ID values. So there might, in many applications there are two ways of defining a user. So the user ID and the ID both are the same, like these two are the user ID values. So this is the encrypted user ID value, this is the unencrypted user ID value. So try to identify numeric ID value by going through all the endpoints in the application, and try to replace it with numeric ID value instead of alphanumeric ID value. And the next step would be try fuzzing API path name, like this is the actual path name over here. You are getting 401 unauthorized. So instead of all small letters, try to insert capital A and send the request. You might get 200 OK, or all capital letters by fuzzing all the path name API endpoint over here. And try sending wildcard instead of an ID. So instead of an user ID over here, try to insert star mark over here, which is a wildcard. So which might give you a result of all the users in that particular organization. So you can also use Google Docs to search all the endpoints having ID parameter values, which the search engine may have already indexed. So use tools like Arjun, Paraminer to brute force the hidden parameters in an endpoint. So proactively add parameters to the endpoint, like you can see over here, like there is no parameter over here in this endpoint. You are getting 200 OK. So proactively give user ID value over here and the ID parameter. So you might get the user ID information instead of this messages and all. So you can try fuzzing like this as well. So the next one would be try adding multi parameters to the endpoint, like you can basically try to use a parameter position at an endpoint. So like you're adding dual parameter parameters and with dual parameter values over here, and you might get juicy information in the response. So next step would be use endpoint file extensions, like this is actual endpoint. So you try adding .json, .xml, .config, .txt and so on. So you might get the user information in this format by bypassing the authorization checks. So next we are going to discuss about the next method. So try using JSON parameter pollution. So try to insert dual parameters in the JSON request body, and you might get this victim's information instead of your information. So you can also bypass the authorization check by dual parameters in a JSON request body, and wrap ID parameter value within a JSON object. So where this is the actual JSON request parameters which are there in this format. So you have just wrapped all this value in an array in the JSON object. So you might get bypassed and get the information of the victim. And try changing API versions, which in most of the applications in a bug bounty or in a real-time applications. So most of the endpoints basically uses its versions like v1, v2, v3, etc., etc. So you try to, if the application is using v3 version, right? So try to change it to v1 and send the request to the server. You might bypass the authorization check and get the response, or else try to change it to v2, etc., etc. So these are the various IDOR checklist in order to bypass the authorization check on the server side and get victims information in sensitive information in the responses. So let's discuss about the next topic, which is automating XSS and SQL injections using few tools. So the list of tools that we are gonna use in the to automate finding XSS and SQL injections are like these are the list of tools. I believe most of the people are already aware of some of the tools over here. So till nuclei, the new tools that are included are these two, which are Scent and X-ray. So we will be discussing how to find XSS and SQL injections by using all these tools. So let's get into the demo. So first we will try to enumerate the list of subdomains using subfinder for this target domain. Okay, so let's paste this command, and enu is another tool which basically takes down the results over here and save it in the file name which we are going to give now, return subs.txt, and it will not only save the results over in this file, it will also check out for the duplicate results, and it will remove and only the new results that will get saved in this file. So let's click on enter. So it will basically subfinder will take a bit time to scan all the subdomains of the given target. So I have used the flags like -d and gave the target name over here, and gave -all flag. So -all means it basically takes the output from various resources like crt.sh and showdown, etc., etc., on whatever API keys you have configured in this subfinder tool. So as you can see, these many subdomains that have been retrieved by subfinder. There are many subdomains for this target, and let's move out to the second tool, which is asset finder. So I have given the asset finder and perform subdomain scan only on this target domain, and give the same enu command over here, Hilton subs. So asset finder will again scan for any new subdomains that are getting are missed out by the subfinder. So there are no subdomains missed out by the subfinder. So let's use another subfinder subdomain scan tool, which is AMAS. So I'm performing passive enumeration, subdomain enumeration on this particular target. So give the same a new command. So AMAS will again perform subdomain scan on this particular target, and if there are any new targets that are missed out by this subfinder, it will get stored, saved in this particular Hilton sub.txt file. As you can see, there are some subdomains that are being missed out by subfinder, so that are getting added over in this Hilton sub.txt file. So the subdomain finding is finished by using AMAS. So now it's time to scan for the live domains using HTTPX. So use this and Hilton live, let's name it as Hilton live, Hilton subs, and use HTTP silent and a new Hilton live.txt. So all the results that are coming from HTTPX, gonna use another new tool which is called sent nuclei templates. So basically these are the list of templates which are collected by various security researchers, and by using these templates we will be using nuclei to use these templates, and basically to perform complete scan using at the time of reconnaissance. So you can basically download it or install it just by giving the single command, and you're good to go using all these templates using nuclei. So for this the command we are gonna use is like this thing. So here we'll be taking that all the live subdomains.txt file, and give the sent templates, feed all those sent templates to nuclei scan, and you can also mention the tags scan only for CVEs or scan only for misconfigurations, etc., and you can basically get the results in the output. So let's paste that and give the file name over here. The file name would be Hilton, which is this one, hilton.live, hilton-live.txt. So now it will, all these templates will use nuclei as a tool in order to perform scanning on all these live subdomains. As you can see, it has loaded 5000 plus templates to perform the scanning on the live subdomains. If you want to perform end-to-end scanning, so you can remove these tags, and it will use all the templates that are there in this nuclei templates, sent nuclei templates. In the meantime, there is another tool called X-ray. So basically this tool is used to perform active scanning on all the live subdomains that are there, which we are going to provide over here. So we can also provide the plugin flag over here, and which will scan only for the mentioned plugin, like XSS, scan for XSS, scan for SQL injection, scan for XXC, SSRF, command injection, path traversal, etc., etc. So you can use this tool next in order to perform, find out any, vulnerabilities in the uh, live subdomains. So it's gonna take some time to give us the results. Okay, you can use this command to perform the scanning of the live subdomains over here using nuclei. So let's go to the next tool, which is X-ray. So I'm gonna give the list of live subdomains over here to the X-ray live.txt. So it will only scan for XSS, etc., etc. If at all it finds any vulnerabilities, it will give you the results, or else it will not. So there are no results, no findings for all these vulnerabilities. So you can try it out, at the time of reconnaissance in your target applications and all. Yeah, that's it for this tool. So you can basically use in your day-to-day bug bounty hunting and find out the appropriate results at the time of reconnaissance. Okay, let's jump into the next tool, next topic, which is XSS automation. So which is given by this researcher. To perform XSS automation, so we are going to use all these tools, like we have already uh, had used subfinder and HTTPX in our previous slides. So now we are going to use all these tools to find out XSS vulnerabilities at the time of reconnaissance. So let's get into the demo. So in our uh, previous slide, so we have used collected all the live subdomains of Hilton. So here they are. So these are the live subdomains that are there in Hilton. So now we need to first use collect all the URLs from using wayback URLs tool. Wayback URLs is nothing but it will collect all the URLs that are there that are archived using in the web archive portal. So it will collect all those URLs and it will dump in a text file. So we can basically use this text file. So here it is. So when you click on this, all the URLs will be collected and it will be saved in Hilton-urls.txt file. In the meantime, you can also use another tool called ParamSpider. So here it is. So in ParamSpider we can basically use this command, which is, so here I'm basically writing a bash script over here, so where it will see all the files which are there in this particular folder, recon folder, and it will read this file content in this file hilton-live.txt, and it will run the command like ParamSpider command. Here it is, and it will save the results of ParamSpider again in the recon folder in the hilton-urls.txt file. So this is the bash script. So now just let's run this thing. So here are all the URLs that are being crawled by using ParamSpider. So yeah, so now everything is set up. I think it's still running, so let's stop this scan now. So you can see there is a file called Hilton-urls. All the URLs that are collected using Wayback URLs and ParamSpider are being saved in this file. So now let's run the Dalfox tool. So basically it is used to find out XSS vulnerabilities in the collected URLs. So here it is. So you need to just type this command and hit enter. So it will try to scan all the URLs which are there in this hilton-urls.txt. It will not only scan the URLs that are there over here, it will also find out the hidden parameters and if there are any sensitive information that are there in that responses or HTML files, so it will also get listed out over here. So basically it will perform all type of vulnerability scans, like passive scanning, static scanning, blind access, etc. So as you can see, currently this particular URL is being scanned. So it says that there are found 0 testing point in DOM XSS. So currently the analysis is still in progress. So now in the meantime we will use another tool called XSS Strike. So let's this tool was already installed in my system, so let's go to that. So here I have wrote this is the tool XSS Strike.py. So I have wrote a bash script over here where we can basically automate our command executions and all. So let's see what's there in that command. So as you can see here, so the same command which we have used for syntax which we have used for ParamSpider. So here it is, here also same. So in the recon folder there is a file called hilton-urls.txt, and read that file and perform run this command like python3 XSS Strike.py -u and URLs. So basically it will scan all the URLs using XSS Strike.py. So now let's run the script now. So XSS -exploit.sh. So it will try running the scan on each and every URL that is there in the uh, you know Hilton-urls.txt. You can basically scan all the subdomain assets of the target, and you can basically report XSS vulnerabilities at the time of reconnaissance. Yeah. Thanks. Let's go to the next slide. So this is an unexpected IDOR, which was written by this guy, this researcher in the Medium. So this researcher has found at the time of bug bounty hunting, he has found one IDOR, which is completely unexpected, which is a different methodology. So that's the reason I have kept that finding in this slide. So what is his approach was like to find that bug. So the researcher used below Google Doc while performing recon on the target application. This is a Google Doc. So he mentioned the query site and wildcard and the domain name and in URL .aspx. Like this is the technology they are being used in that target application. So the researcher found that there were few URLs that are being crawled by the search engine like below. So like these are the results that are given by the Google. So some are being crawled these kind of URLs. So in that URL you can see this is the normal landing page which has a base64 encoded string at the end, appended at the end of the URL. So after decoding base64 encoded value, it was found that it is a user mobile number. So it reached a user mobile number is being base64 encoded. So now the attacker has decoded generated another account, and he tried to encode that particular mobile number to base64 and appended it to the end of the URL, and he was able to get the sensitive PI information of other users. So this is very unique approach. We basically do not neglect Google docking at the time of reconnaissance. So for this particular bug, he got rewarded with $2,000 US. Yeah. So next is exploiting a client-side desync attack. So which was written by Panda. So in the Medium. So what is client-side desync attack? So basically, first let's discuss about that. So client-side desync vulnerabilities occur when a web server fails to correctly process the content length of post requests. By exploiting this behavior, so an attacker can enforce a victim's browser to desynchronize its connection with the website, typically, which leads to XSS kind of attacks. So this attack is basically exploitable in versions, HTTP versions like 1.0 and 1.1 only. So if the application, let's assume that if an application is using HTTP2, then try to downgrade it, the HTTP version to 1.1 or 1.0. So you can basically capture the request and send to burp repeater and manually downgrade the HTTP version of that particular request. So once if you get if the request is HTTP 1.1 or 1.0 is downgradable, so you can basically go to the next step, which is you need to disable update content length setting in burp repeater. So you basically need to uncheck this particular thing in burp repeater for that particular request. So now you need to also change the connection header from close to keep alive. So as you can see here, the connection header in this particular request is will be default as a close. Okay, so that you need to be changed to keep-alive. Okay, so then you need to send the request. You need to paste any genuine request of that particular application after the two spaces in between the original request and the crafted request. Okay, so this is the original request which is there, and this is the pasted request of the of that particular application. So after crafting all these in that particular request, vulnerable request, so you need to send that particular request to the server, and you will surprisingly you will get a response, dual response from the server. Here it was actual response, which is a 200 OK thing, and after that you will get another response, which is 302 redirect. So there is two dual response which will be sent by the server. Yeah, so that's about the client side desync attack exploitation. So yeah, so let's next go to the next attack. So one of the researcher he wrote the list of checklist for in order to bypass any admin panels. So here are the list. So to check, basically whenever you find any login page, admin login page, etc., so you basically need to try entering default credentials of that particular application admin portal. And next step would be use error-based or time-based SQL injections in order to bypass the admin login page. So and the next, you can try manipulating HTTP response codes, status codes, whenever you enter any invalid credentials, right? So you will get a response from the server saying that 302 redirect, or 401 unauthorized, or 400 bad request, or etc., etc. So instead of leaving the status codes as it is, you need to change the 302 to 200 OK, or 401 to 200 OK, or 400 to 200 OK, etc., etc. So after once you bypass that status, once you modify that status codes, you might get log into the admin panels. So try brute forcing the values. This method is known for everyone. So you basically need to enter the username as admin and try to brute force the password with the most commonly used passwords using burp intruder. Yeah. So and next one is forced browsing, or performing directory fuzzing. So you can basically use tools like Dirbuster, Fuff, etc., etc., and brute force the root path of that particular login portal. You might find some 200 OK responses and try to go further after it. And next one would be try removing or modifying parameters from the request or response. Once try after entering username password, you will get a post request. So try to remove the password parameter, or try to remove the username parameter, or else you can basically modify the responses. If the response says that 400 bad request, and the response body as status code, error code as 500, then change the status code to 200 OK, and the error code to 200 success, or etc. So you might also log in to the portal by changing the responses and etc., etc. And the next step would be you need to thoroughly check all the JS files at the time of login page. So there might be some hidden paths, or some tokens, or some passwords or usernames might be leaked in JS files. And also check out the comments of that particular login page and by using burp suite comments feature. Okay, and try changing the request methods from get to post, or from post to get, where you can basically bypass the login page of that particular admin portal. Yeah, if you next step would be, if you get a response saying that post is not supported, then you can try to send the JSON in the content in the body, but the get with a get request with content type application/JSON. So yeah, so these are all the list of methods basically you can try to implement at the time of reconnaissance when you find an admin panel, if you want to bypass that particular login page bypasses. So the next let's move on to next thing, which is finding directory listing. So this Hussein has found a new way to find out having using utilizing of Google Docs and all. So basically we have an online tool which we are going to discuss now. So when you just need to enter the target.com target domain name in the search bar, and you can basically click on any a Google Doc if you want to search for in the Google. So here is the link. So basically when you go to this link, right, so docs.faisalahmad.me, so you will get this page rendered in your browser. So you just need to enter the target.com over here and try to click on anything. Like if you want to find the directory listing vulnerabilities in this particular target.com, click on that. You will get that particular doc will run instead of you manually entering every doc and all. So instead of directory listing, if you want to see any login pages of that particular portal, login target.com, so you just need to click on this. It will automatically generate docs for you, and it will give you the results in the Google search results. So this is a beautiful tool. You basically you can use it at the time of reconnaissance in order to automate something or save some time and all. Yeah, let's move on to next thing, which is XSS automation. So which was written by the Dark and Kun. So uh, here are the list of tools that are being used in this particular automation thing. So here are the list of tools that are being used in the second method of XSS automation. Um, so param spider we have already used. So Arjun, you already know about it. So the new tools are like GAU and KXSS. So let's see how the demo of these two tools. So GAU is basically same like our previous tools like param spider and wayback URLs. It basically crawls wayback archive URLs and lists down in a file. And KXSS is one of the XSS finding tool. So basically which inserts all the special characters in the parameters that are crawled by using these tools, and it will say that so these are the special characters that are being reflected in the responses. So you might build a payload, XSS payload on these vulnerable URLs and all. So yeah. So how what is the command that needs to be run to perform this particular use this particular tool GAU? So here it is. So here are the list of Hilton-live subdomains, and this is the GAU tool, and all the results that are out from GAU tool will be saved in this Hilton URL.txt file. So yeah, so when you click on enter, all the URLs will get crawled by using GAU tool in the web archive application. So and it will save all the URLs over here. So I've already crawled all the URLs using GAU. So here are the URLs. So these many URLs that are being crawled by the GAU tool. So now you just need to provide the KXSS tool to the saved all the URLs which are done by the GAU tool. So you just need to enter the KXSS grep that particular command in this particular tool. So when you click on enter, so what it will do is like it will not scan like dull fox or XSS strike, which we have tried it earlier in our previous slides. So it basically it will not find out the vulnerabilities in URL by URL. It only find out the URLs which are all the special characters which are being entered by the KXS are being reflected as it is in the response. So it will basically fuzz all the parameter values in using these special characters, if any of these special characters are being reflected as it is in the responses, so KXSS will give that particular URL over here, and we need to build the payload, JavaScript payload on the basis of this output. Like, if let's assume that these two special characters are not being filtered out, or are being reflected in the responses as it is, so you basically need to build a JavaScript payload by using these two special characters, and you can basically execute it by crafting your own payloads and all. So this tool will help on identifying it but not exploiting in it. So yeah. So these are all about XSS automation tools. So now let's get into another topic, which is a few bug bounty tips, which was given by Daniel Kelly. So he stated that we at the initial stages of getting into the bug bounty hunting, and also you basically do not jump into the private programs or HackerOne or Bugcrowd or any these kind of platforms. Instead, you can basically try attacking any responsible disclosure programs or VDPs or etc etc. So you basically the competition is very less, and you might find good bugs in it, and you might get motivation to find do the bug bounty hunting in the platforms like HackerOne or Bugcrowd. So, and the second tip he provided is like use only selective tools, like let's say for SQL injection, you can use tools like SQL map or Gauri, etc. And for reconnaissance, you can use subfinder, sublist, asset finder, AMAS, mass scan, etc etc. So there are plenty of tools, but you need to use only selective tools. Yeah. And learn from others and modify your own methodology. So you basically, what I'm doing is now it is that, so you basically learn from various researchers from around the world, and you need to modify your methodology according by collecting all that information and all. So yeah, you need to have your own methodology at the time of pen testing. Yeah, so expand your attack surface as much as possible. Looking into JS files, brute forcing multi-level subdomains, and by performing directory brute force, etc., etc. So you basically need to expand your scope on that particular target, so that you can find fruitful results where other researchers might have missed out. So yeah. So next topic is Django debug mode enabled. This is the one of the researcher has found this particular bug. So what he has done is like he you need to perform your subdomain enumeration on the target application, and then now manually enter random text in every root path value of the live subdomains, like this, like at the root domain, after the domain name slash, and write any gibberish info data in it, like ABCD or something something. So you might get error like this, like if the application is using Django, so any of the subdomain of that particular target application is using Django, so you might end up getting these kind of errors. So this is not a normal error, so it is basically disclosing detailed application environment and Swagger APIs, internal APIs, etc etc. So which are very useful for exploiting in our next levels. So yeah, so as you can see here, one of the Swagger endpoint is getting leaked. So the attacker has copied this endpoint and pasted over here, and he was able to get the Swagger UI successfully, and from then he can basically fuzz every endpoint which are there in this particular Swagger URL, Swagger file. So yeah, so he found a very sensitive information leakage bugs in by using this approach. So yeah, so next is XSS via hidden parameters. So this this researcher has found one of the good finding using some parameter discovery tools like Arjun. So yeah, so make what he has done is like uh, make sure to brute force parameters in API endpoints. Like for example, this let's say this is a endpoint which we are trying to find out the hidden parameters. So this is the Arjun command he used. Basically, he provided the target URL and and the request method over here, and he was able to the Arjun tool has successfully given that perspective equal to is a hidden one of the parameter valid parameter which is being hidden in this particular endpoint. So what he's done is like he appended that particular parameter over here and gave some random data in this parameter value, and now try to insert malicious characters and see whether it's getting reflected in the responses or not. So after successfully constructing the JavaScript payloads, he was able to successfully execute that malicious JavaScript payload in the application in that particular endpoint. Yeah, so this is one of the good finding which was found. Yeah, so next one is like user enumeration using a tool called NametoMail. So most of the applications target programs mark user enumeration as one of the out of scope vulnerabilities, but this guy Snoopy has found out a way where we can show the actual impact of that particular vulnerability, user enumeration vulnerability, and how it can exploit in the wild. So yeah, so he basically used a tool called NametoMail. So consider an application is vulnerable to user enumeration vulnerability, which gives different responses for registered and unregistered email addresses. So you can see over here some email address he has given, and the application responded with in a different way. If there is any genuine email address which is given, the application will respond within another way. So yeah, so then it is far more difficult to give permutations and combinations to test for user enumeration here. So here we can use a tool called NametoMail, which generates email addresses to the given target domain with multiple possible combinations. Like you say, I mean, this is the tool which is being used. What he has done is like he has installed this tool, and in that particular folder he has given a name in a file. So let's say this particular target has a name called Charles Brown. So Charlie Brown. So he has given that name in the names.txt file, and he provided that particular file into the NametoMail tool. So and with the target name target.com. Okay, let's say there is a Tesla application you are testing. So you can give tesla.com, and you can give any Tesla working employee email name over here, first name and last name over here, and you can basically get the permutation combination, different various permutations and combination mail addresses that can be utilized by the tesla.com. So yeah, so so this is one of the good way on how to exploit the user enumeration vulnerability and show the impact to the program owners. So these are all the various combinations where the tool has generated, like Charlie Brown -Brown @target.com, etc., etc. So yeah, so you can basically copy all these various combinations and paste it in the intruder and brute force that particular username parameter. And as tesla.com, let's assume that tesla.com has this particular employee still existed, so any one of the email address might be valid in this particular thing. So that like that way, in that way, like an attacker can take leverage of user enumeration vulnerabilities. Yeah, hope this is useful for you guys to know more about new techniques and new tools and all. So I'm going to showcase more learn more articles in the medium from various researchers around the world, and I'll be showcasing those methodologies or techniques or in these videos in future as well. So please stay tuned.